Get out, Ethan. I've had enough of this attitude. You don't just get to shut me out every time something doesn't go your way.
You don't get it. You never listen. Anytime I try to tell you how I feel, you just brush it off like it's nothing.
Every time I try to help, you shut me down. You think I don't notice? You come home late, you barely eat, and when I ask you what's wrong, you give me nothing.
Well, maybe that's because you actually don't want to listen. The door slammed heavier than intended. The echo of my mother's shouting still clung to me as I stormed down the pavement, heart thudding like a war drum in my chest. I didn't know where I was going, only that I needed to leave. The cold air bit through my hoodie as dusk swallowed the sky. Every step felt heavier, but the anger burning inside me was stronger than reason. She never listens. She never cares. That lie repeated in my head, even though deep down I knew it wasn't true. But sometimes, the weight of hurt makes people say things they can't take back. The first night hit like a freight train. I found myself sitting on a bench in the park, the cold, bitter air settling into my bones. The silence around me felt endless. No text from my mother, no friends reaching out. Just emptiness. My stomach growled. But hunger didn't scare me yet. I've gone without many times before. What scared me was the creeping loneliness, the realization that home was no longer an option. When sleep finally came, it was shallow and restless, interrupted by the cold biting my face and the ache of the hard bench beneath me. By the second day, the hunger was no longer an afterthought. It clawed at me constantly. My legs ached from walking aimlessly, searching for any place out of the rain, looking for home. That was when the memories started to claw their way back. My father, my real father, gone before I'd even had the chance to understand what death truly meant. I was just a kid, sitting at a funeral too young to process why the man who used to toss me in the air wasn't coming back. Then came him, the man who replaced my father. My stepfather's hands weren't kind, and his words were knives, cutting deeper with every insult, every threat. The bruises eventually faded, but the fear didn't. The silence that came with hiding it all, that stuck around. A fire that burns twice as bright lasts half as long. And the fiery anger I felt at him, at my mother, at life in general, was starting to wane, replaced with sadness. But then a thought surfaced. My sister. Her face appeared so clearly in my mind. Jessie, with her messy ponytails and gap-toothed smile, always looking up to me with wide, innocent eyes. She didn't deserve to wonder why her big brother just disappeared. With shaky hands, I pulled out my phone. 1% battery left. Just enough to switch to video mode and hit record. Hey Jessie. I just wanted to say I'm sorry I left so suddenly. I didn't mean to scare you. Things got bad. I couldn't stay. But I need you to know this isn't your fault. Not even a little bit. You're the best sister I could ever ask for, and I loved you so much. I promise you're going to see me again. I don't know when, but find my way back. I need time to figure things out, okay? Stay strong for me, alright? You're so brave. Braver than I'll ever be. I'll come back. I swear. I love you, Jesse. The third day broke me. Hunger was no longer just a gnaw, it was pain. My body was weak, and every step felt like walking through concrete. I sat beneath an overpass. I wanted to cry, but the tears wouldn't come. I was too tired for that. That's when I heard Rosie's voice.
Ethan? Is that you? What happened to you?
It got bad. Mum and I, we had a fight. I left.
You've been out here for how long?
3 days. No food, nowhere to go.
Why didn't you call me? You didn't have to go through this alone.
I thought I could be strong enough. I thought if I was strong enough, it would stop. But it didn't. I didn't tell anyone because I was scared of what it would mean if I did. I didn't want to be a burden, Rosie.
I didn't know. I got kicked out too. My dad couldn't stand me anymore. He said I wasn't worth the effort. My mum, she lives too far away for me to get to her. But we're not alone. I'm here, you're here. We'll figure something out.
The words tumbled out like an avalanche. About the fight with my mum, about sleeping on the streets, about him. For the first time I told someone about the years of fear and silence, the hidden bruises, the guilt of feeling weak. Rosie didn't flinch. She didn't interrupt. She just listened. In the flood of words, slow, we sat there in silence. Two broken souls beneath grey skies. For the first time in 3 days, the crushing loneliness loosened its grip. For the first time, I wasn't alone in the storm.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
You never think it could be you. You hear stories about kids getting kicked out, sleeping on cold streets, feeling forgotten by the world. But you never think it'll be your life. Until it is. I thought I was alone. Thought no one could understand the pain, the anger, the fear, the feeling that maybe you're the problem. But I was wrong. There are others out there, just like me, just like Rosie. People who feel lost, scared, and invisible. People who carry pain that no one sees because they're too afraid to let it show. But the truth is, you're never really alone. There are people who care, people who will listen, people who can help pull you out of the darkest places, even when it feels impossible. It took me 3 days to realize it. 3 days of cold, hunger, and silence. But help is out there. Someone will listen if you reach out. And sometimes, all it takes is one person sitting beside you to remind you that things can get better. To remind you of the things that make you smile.